Hey friends, I hope you are doing great out there today. Today we're dropping episode 12 and we are focusing on the narcissist. The narcissist. I know, very sexy topic right now. Everyone's using it and throwing it around and it's kind of losing its power, but we're not going to let it lose its power because it is real. But before we get into it, let's just take a deep breath. Whew, because this is a very heavy topic. And today we are shining the light on narcissists. And what's more toxic than dealing with a narc in your life? And honestly, there are people who dedicate their entire career on this topic. There are people who dedicate their focus and so many videos that I've come across on this topic alone. And I know one episode is not enough to talk about it because this can be broken down into so many different parts. But today we are going to focus on just understanding what a narcissist is. And then we can go into the next topic was how to deal with them if you have them in your life. So today we're going to go into understanding. So whether it is your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, your auntie, your cousin, your partner, your boss, it is never a good time when you have to deal with these types of individuals. They literally suck the energy from you and keep you dry and low vibrations, unhappy and sad. And so now, me, even as a spiritual coach, I will tell you, I have no sympathy for these kinds of individuals and entities that I call them that's walking around on earth because they literally come to kill and destroy anything and anyone they cross paths with. Some people even take away the fact that narcissists are human beings because they are unable they lack empathy. And to be human is to show empathy. Some people refer to them as soulless corpse walking around the earth. Some people even refer to them as the living devils themselves. And I know that those are some really deep, deep description of these individuals. But if you have dealt with them, I'm pretty sure you can agree. So, if you don't know, narcissistic personality disorder is considered to be a personality disorder that lies on a spectrum. Um, so they say that everyone has a little bit of narcissism in them. You know, you have healthy narcissism, which is loving yourself, caring for yourself, taking good care of yourself, and pride in how you look. But then we have unhealthy narcissism. So it lies on a spectrum. It is a disorder in which a person has an inflated sense of self importance and a lack of empathy, like an extreme lack of empathy. The narcissistic personality disorder is more commonly found in men, but can also be found in women. It's considered to be rare to be diagnosed. Why is that? Because most narcissists don't think that anything is wrong with them, so they're not going to a therapist and they're not trying to hear anything to help them be a better person because they lack self-reflection. But studies have shown that 1 in 3 people are narcissists. So 9 times out of 10, have dealt with, been, or you probably are a narcissist right now listening on this phone. But there are 6 different types of narcissists. There's a toxic narc, the sociopathic narc, the closet narc, the exhibitionist narc, the bullying narc, and the seducer narc. Some are covert, which seem shy and extremely sensitive to what other people think about them, and they have a little bit of humility, while there are others who are overt narcissists that are very easy to identify because they're the loud, the arrogant, the insensitive ones, the ones that crack jokes on people at parties in front of circles and put them down, and the one that want all the, as soon as they walk into the room, they want all of the attention and the spotlight is on them. Those are the easy to spot ones. But the covert ones, that's where you got to be careful because you will fall into their trap. They manipulate, they gaslight, they lie, they steal, they cheat, they abuse, and they make your life a living hell. some of the covert narcissists, they're the ones that are always the victim in every single situation. They lack self-reflection, they lack responsibility, they lack accountability, and it's always everyone else's fault. So there is a Tyler Perry movie, A Fall from Grace, that depicts a narcissist very well when it comes to a relationship. So I'm just letting you know there's a spoiler alert because I'm about to spoil this movie for you. And if you haven't already watched the movie, I'm going to give you a brief overview of how the narcissist character played by Machad Brooks and how he preyed on the main character, Grace, which was played by Crystal Fox. So, Grace, right? She was a divorcee who left her marriage due to her husband having an affair. And let's just pretend that Tyler Perry movies are not predictable and by the book and and lack a little bit of depth. But we're gonna just pretend right now. So her husband, oh my God, he cheated on her, had an affair with a younger woman, right? So she was extremely broken and she never fully recovered from her heartbreak. And she, wallowed in her sorrow. She was, though, a very successful woman. She had her own business. She owned her own home. She was a great citizen, donated, participated in the church. She was a really good person. She was advised by one of her friends, quote unquote, to go out and have fun, and that she suggested that she should go to an art gallery. So Grace was like, oh my God, okay, let me finally get up and do something with myself and not wallow in my sorrow. Let me go to this art gallery. She goes to this art gallery and she's looking at some of the paintings, mesmerized. And a guy walks up to her and he's like, you like this painting? And she's like, yeah, I love it. And he was like, yeah, I wonder, talking to her, I wonder what the artist was doing and how he felt about it, blah, 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 right? So the artist guy ended up being Shannon, the same guy that walked up to her. He expressed his interest in her from the very beginning by sending her that same painting that she was mesmerized by at his art show to her office. Then he wined and dined her. He made love to her and just completely awakening her spirit. He was extremely romantic, and Grace fell head over heels for him, especially because she was a little older woman and she's like, oh my God, why is this fine young tenderoni trying to sweep little old me off my feet, right? She raised her eyebrows, but he reassured her so much that she fell in love and he quickly proposed to her. So after a few months of dating, she moved him into her home. One thing that I always saw in the movie was the fact that it was everything took place in her home. We never saw much of what his life was like outside of her, which is narcissistic to the T. So soon after, Grace was fired from her job due to money being stolen from her company in her name. So when she went to the bank to investigate who stole her money and her identity, she learned um, her home was going into foreclosure because someone took out a double mortgage on her home and wasn't paying it back. So, long story short, it was Shannon, right? Her now husband who used the rights of being her husband to go behind her back and scam her. When she confronted him, he told her that he deserved it for marrying her old ass and bringing her back to life, right? Completely did not take any accountability. So the mask fell off, and he started bringing other women into her home, sleeping with them in her bed, completely disrespecting her. And one day, Grace got fed up, and she took a bat to his head and beat the shit out of him. So I'm gonna leave the story there. It gets deeper, it goes longer. There's a little twist at the end. I'm not gonna ruin it completely. If you want to go watch the movie, go ahead and watch the movie. But that storyline depicted a narcissist to the T. Shannon, he preyed on the weak individual, which is what they typically do. It is really hard for a narcissist to survive around strong individuals with strong boundaries. Strong individuals with strong boundaries. They usually prey on empaths, people with weak boundaries, individuals who are unaware of their self-worth, individuals that are walking around, acting like life is full of sweet treats, fairy tales, and happiness. Shannon saw that opportunity to take advantage of a woman who lost her sense of self-worth. And, that's truly, narcissists are truly by the book. They love bomb you and get you to trust them. And then when you open up to them, they take the notes down to find your weaknesses. They ask you really intrusive questions from early on. They find your weaknesses, and then they manipulate and gaslight like you and control you until you are able to pull yourself out of that situation. Now, like I said, there are many people who are dealing with narcissistic individuals in their life. Now, I just gave an example of what it looks like when you are dealing with a narcissist in a relationship, and it can get deep. Many people are married to them, were married to them, have children with them, and they know that it's a living hell because narcissists are not solution based people. They're problem based people, problematic people, and they love to live off of that because they feed off of that energy. So when you're dealing with your parents who are narcissists, one parent or the other or both, you can know that they use you as pawns, and they have a child that's the golden child that's bigged up, and the light shines on them, and they're always the perfect in their eyes, and they put the other siblings down, and then they have the scapegoat children, which are the ones that are practically ignored. When you have aunts and cousins and other family members, if you have dealt with this, the trauma and the turmoil, the drama and the turmoil that they bring into the relationships of the family dynamics all the time. And so individuals, when you are with someone who's narcissistic or have dealt with them, they truly drain you of your pure essence. They drain you of your pure essence and your soul because they are looking for validation for themselves. So one of the examples that I got to understand why would someone be a narcissist? How do you become a narcissist, right? I know it's one of those phenomenons that people are trying to discover, but narcissists really are birthed from trauma. They are birthed from extreme trauma. So I would love for you guys to follow with me on this example of narcissist on a spiritual level. So we all have a shell that we're born into, and right, we have our shell, our physical shell. Within our physical shell there is a spirit, right? Our pure essence, our higher self that dwells within our physical shell. So it is believed, one perspective, that narcissists were abused so badly that they felt complete shame, complete blame, complete sadness, brokenness, hurt in their childhood, that their pure essence was no longer a match to their physical shell. And what happens is, because their shell was at such a low vibration because they were beaten down, they now became a match to another low vibrational entity. When we think about it, the energy of deception, manipulation, gaslighting, stealing, physical, verbal, emotional abuse, all of those things and qualities that a narcissist bring into your life are all low vibrational traits. They're all low vibrational. And when I say low vibrational, they're not things that build you and make you better. They're things that break you and make you worse. These are the only types of ways that these people can operate. If a narcissist is doing anything right to you, for you, sweet, thoughtful, it is because there's another purpose behind it. It's a manipulative tactic. It's never out of the joy of making you feel good and the joy of making you happy, and because they love you. They're incapable of loving you. But let's get back to the example. So now that the body is lower vibrational, it's a match to lower vibrational entities. And I know I haven't gotten this deep with you guys, and I'm going to take you there today because this is something that I would really love for a lot of people to understand, because I feel as though it's a pandemic going on with narcissism, and a lot more people are showing up as victims. And we really want to understand before we judge. It's easy to judge, right? But let's try to understand. So now that they have been taken over by lower vibrational entities, we have to understand one thing also. We are not the only ones walking around on earth. Because we are physical, there are other energies and entities. If energy cannot be destroyed, only transferred, one must understand that there are other energies that are surrounding us. So energies just are. They're either vibrating high or vibrating low. Nature gives off high vibrational energy, and other things gives off low vibrational energies. So just know that. That's why when I was talking about drinking, when your physical shell goes to a lower vibration, because alcohol is a depressant, alcohol lowers your vibration of your physical shell. Your pure essence, your higher self, is no longer a match to your physical shell. It leaves. And then another lower vibrational entity that is a match to you will take over your physical shell and take you for a joyride until you come back. That's why people black out. That's why people don't remember things, because their true essence was no longer with them. So this is similar. When we talk about narcissists, that is exactly what's happening. That's the same thing that's happening with them. There is a entity that takes over. The sad part is, though, is that it stays, because these people are trapped in their brokenness due to whatever trauma they experienced. And so they walk around being this entity. And that's why whenever you cause a narcissistic energy, it is due to it is when you put them back in shame, what they always felt in their childhood. When you show them that they aren't worth anything, what they've always felt during childhood. When you tell them the truth about themselves and they're unable to face it, that's how they were in childhood. And they react like children. So they are stunted in their growth because of the trauma that they experienced, the age that they experienced it. So that's why dealing with narcissists is literally like dealing with children. They throw tantrums, they don't comply, they don't know solutions, they want everything to go their way, they can't take responsibility, they have no accountability. It's literally like dealing with children. So that's why it's so confusing. Now, when you are in a relationship with a narcissist or have narcissistic parents, anyone that's close to you that were like this, and to realize that they get their true worth and their true value off of other people. That's how they feel good about themselves. That's how they feel alive. They cannot cultivate this for themselves because they're so low vibrational that they cannot cultivate their own goodness. So they feed off of other people's goodness, which is why a lot of empaths are a match to narcissists, because empaths and light workers, they are living in higher vibration, and narcissists want a piece of that. So, but they don't know how to get it because they don't believe that they are good enough by themselves to go and get that for themselves. So what they do is they go about it in manipulative tactics and ways because they don't understand their true essence. So this example help me to understand them from a non-judgmental standpoint and shift me to a place where I can feel a little bit sad and sorry for them, right? Because if you have dealt with these people and after they drain you of your essence and of your light, you're looking around like, who am I? How did this happen to me? What did I do to attract this? How was I even a match to this? You have all types of questions. You even are questioning your identity. You're questioning your self-worth going forward. You're questioning just everything about yourself, which is why a lot of people who have dealt with them end up in therapy, because it's like, well, we have to rebuild. We have to put the pieces back together. Like, what the hell did I just experience? Did I really just experience that? Are people really this evil for no reason? Like, yes. It happens. It happens. And this is why boundaries, understanding your self-worth, are so important, because what narcissists hate are boundaries, because now you're setting limitations for them. They don't just get to have their way. Children would love to go around and live life jumping off the furniture and doing whatever, but once you set boundaries, that's when they catch attitudes. That's similar to narcissists. So I know this is a longer one because I'm obviously very passionate about this and very knowledgeable about this subject, but I want you guys to understand, take yourself out. If you are someone who are dealing with these types of individuals, the best way to go about it, right? One, if you can't go no contact, where there's no cure for this personality disorder. They literally just are. They just exist. Some people deal with them forever, some people don't. But for those who don't have to deal with them, the best thing they say to do is to just go no contact, completely block them out of your life, social media, however, no contact. Other individuals who may have to deal with them because they're the partners of their children, they are their husbands and they're not quite out the marriage yet, they're their bosses and they don't want to quit their job. Those individuals that have to deal with these people, this is a time where you should learn as much as you possibly can to deal with them, as much as you possibly can, because the more you know, the more power you have. And this right here is something that you have to deal with in your power and not in your weakness, because you will continuously fall in their traps over and over and over again. And I've seen it, and it's the saddest thing to watch, because you're really depleting yourself, draining yourself, setting yourself up to diseases, illnesses, and all types of just badness. Nothing good. You can't elevate with these type of people hanging off of your shoulders. So it's best to know about it. But I say this to say that narcissists are really broken and hurt individuals who have never experienced true love. And it's unfortunate, but this is just the reality of the life that we live in. So it's best to continue to listen to podcasts, YouTube channel, follow people, things like this. What I've said, I hope I sparked something in you to go and learn about these individuals, because the more you know, the better you are, and the more empathy and sympathy you have for them. So they know no better. They're literally like children who don't know any better. So it's for you to know better and with how to deal with them. So I know I said a lot today, and I hope that you can at least leave with a little bit of sympathy, empathy, and peace of mind. Like I said, we'll go into the next episode with how to deal with them going forward. I'll get into more details about that. But that's all I have for you today. And so if you haven't already done so, like I say all the time, I talk about my narcissistic relationship in my book. At the end of the day, it's me overcoming the addiction to toxic relationships, and it's available on Amazon. Just type in my name, Celicia Shand, CELICIASHAND. And if you like, follow me on Instagram at continued_expansion. And I have one-on-one sessions available. And if you have any questions, feel free to send them in. Remember to breathe always. That's the key. And that's all I have for you today. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.